Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a technology that promises to completely reshape education as we know it, learning analytics.
But let's just start with a really big question. What if we had a kind of crystal ball for the classroom? Something that could tell us which students are on track, who might be falling behind, and what they need to thrive, all in real time. That right there is the core promise of learning analytics. So what is it exactly? Well, the official definition from the Society for Learning Analytics Research, or SOLAR, frames it as a whole process. See, it's not just about grabbing a bunch of data. It's about collecting it with a very specific purpose, to understand and then actively improve the entire learning experience.
To put it really simply, the best analogy is a fitness tracker, but for your brain. It collects all these little data points on your learning activities, like how much time you spent on a task, which concepts you're totally nailing, where you're struggling, and it uses all that information to offer insights for a better, healthier learning journey. Okay, so what could this revolution actually look like in practice? Let's explore the incredible potential that has so many educators and researchers so excited. I mean, the possibilities are just enormous. Imagine personalizing education for every single student, no longer teaching to the middle. We could spot struggling students early enough to actually make a difference. We could shine a light on hidden inequities in the classroom, give teachers immediate feedback to adapt their lessons on the fly, and use all that data to build way better courses from the ground up. And this quote just nails the fundamental shift, right? It's about moving away from that old one-size-fits-all model. Instead of designing for some imaginary average student, analytics lets teachers see and respond to the unique needs of every individual learner in their classroom. And this isn't just theory, this is real. At Purdue University, a pioneering project they called Course Signals used these very techniques to give students real-time feedback. And the result? They improve student retention by an estimated 20%. I mean, that's a massive impact. It shows that when you do this right, it really, really works. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? For all of its promise, the world of learning analytics is also filled with some really serious risks that we absolutely cannot ignore. Because data, it only tells part of the story. And if we aren't super careful, the story it tells could be incomplete, biased, or honestly, even harmful. Now, this gets right to the core ethical choice. Are we using data with a growth mindset to understand and support students on their journey? Or are we slipping into a deficit orientation, where we're just using data to label students by their shortcomings, focusing on failure instead of development? It's a huge difference. And that question opens up some huge challenges. First, you've got privacy and consent. I mean, who owns all this student data, and how is it being protected? Then there's the tech itself. Algorithms are built by people, so they can reflect our own blind spots, potentially making existing inequities even worse. The data also has serious limits. It can't easily capture a student's creativity, their culture, or their personal life. And all this leads to a massive risk, that we just end up molding students to fit some data-defined average, instead of helping them flourish as individuals. This is the crucial point, because the stakes are incredibly high. As this quote points out, relying on limited data doesn't just risk being inaccurate, it risks actively reinforcing systemic inequalities that are already baked into our schools. So, given the promise and the peril, how do we move forward? How do we actually put learning analytics into practice in a way that's effective and ethical and actually empowering for students? So, how do we do it right? Well, this framework from researchers Greller and Draxler basically gives us a roadmap. It shows that a successful project is not just about the tech. You have to carefully consider everyone involved, from students to teachers to administrators. You have to be crystal clear about your goals, and you have to understand the limitations right from the very start. And building on that, success isn't just about software. It's about building an entire organization's capacity to handle it. It has to start with leadership that's really championing the cause. That leadership then fosters a culture where data-informed decisions are valued, not feared. Then you need a real investment in skills and training for everyone involved, all governed by clear ethical policies. Only then, at the very end of that chain, do you choose the right technology, one that actually helps people instead of just getting in the way. And speaking of tools, the design is absolutely critical. On the right, you see this complex, hard-to-read dashboard. It's just a data dump. It's overwhelming. But on the left, a well-designed dashboard is clear, it's intuitive, and it provides insights you can actually do something with. The goal isn't just to show data, it's to make it useful. And this is how we can start to solve that problem of having a one-dimensional view of students. Instead of just tracking grades, a holistic, student-centric report brings together lots of different data points. It can show performance trends, attendance, maybe even general behavior, and it paints a much richer, more complete picture of a student's journey. So, what's the final verdict on learning analytics? Where do we stand, and what does the future hold? You know, the most important takeaway is this. Learning analytics itself is neutral. It's just a tool, like a hammer. You can use a hammer to build a beautiful house, or you can use it to cause a lot of destruction. Its ultimate value, its impact, depends entirely on the intention, the ethics, and the care of the people who decide to pick it up and use it. And that leaves us with one final, really provocative question. As we move forward with this incredible technology, are we going to use it to empower individual learners and unlock their true potential? Or are we going to fall into the trap of simply measuring them, reducing the beautiful complexity of learning down to just a string of numbers? The choice, ultimately, is ours.